Hello and welcome to another edition of this week's Labrats. So this week you would have been sent home with a lovely little plastic kit, and this is that kit. And inside, when you open up these little plastic doodads here and you open it up, you actually have a microscope inside. So we took the liberty to buy you guys microscopes because every scientist needs a microscope. So when you open up this kit, you'll notice that there's some batteries here in the top corner and the actual microscope itself. So you need to install those batteries. So in the bottom here, you'll notice that there's this plate, and you'll need to actually take some screws out of that. So if you just want to use some sort of, little screwdriver here, you can actually just take, there's 3 little screws here, you can just take them out like so. And you can get at the base plate where we actually need to install those batteries. So you can just take those screws out like so. And the third one here in the bottom, back side. And then after you do that, this should just come off right like that. So there you go. Try not to lose the screws because it's going to be bad news if you do. So that's where your batteries go, right in there. So you'll have 2 batteries supplied to you. The flat side goes with the spring, just like that, so inside, and now you have your batteries installed. So I'm not going to bother putting the screws back in because that would just take too much time, so I'm just going to put this black rubber piece back on here. You would install the screws, obviously, and there you have it. We'll take this little piece of styrofoam out, which will be included in your kits as well. So this is a little replica microscope, all right? So this right here is called the nose piece. And the nose piece actually rotates. So the nose piece rotates like this, and each one of these little cylinders that you can see here, each one of those is a different microscopic power. So the little one looks at a much larger field of view. You can see a lot more with that. The largest one here has the most powerful field of view. So you can see things that are you can see things much more up close, basically. This right here is called the stage. And if you look inside of your little kit here, you have 5 prepared plastic slides and 7 blank plastic slides. We're going to use some of those blank ones. So when you open up this kit in here, you will see that you have, for instance, a small thin section of an apple peel. Okay, so you have a small apple in here. Whenever you're doing, whenever you're looking at things under a microscope, you always should start by moving this piece. So this is called the thing that actually turns the microscope up and down to focus it. It's called your focusing dials. So whenever you start with this, you always want to start at the very bottom, because that way you are not going to smash your slide. Because if you go off to university or do this in school, you're actually going to be dealing not with plastic slides but with glass slides. So you bring this focus all the way down and you put your slide in just like that. Okay, and you kind of try to put it over top of whatever it is that you're trying to look at. And you start with your smallest power, because that's going to be able to focus the best, because it's the largest field of view. So then what you do is you look down and you start, I guess we should probably turn this on. And you turn it on just by doing that right there. You can flip this over just like that. And then when you flip this over, it turns the light on just like that. So you can start off by just turning this up. So you turn it up and you keep slowly turning it until you can actually see your slide. And then you can move this around a little bit to get your slide into the field of view. And you can start to see stuff. So if you need to move it around a little bit and kind of experiment with what you're seeing and how to see things the best, is kind of a trial and error thing, because you get a feel for it. And then you can start to see all the little cells and whatnot that are provided to you on these slides. Okay, so this is how you use a microscope, and there you go, you can kind of see this stuff right now. So if you want to take all these little slides that they have prepared for you and start doing that and actually looking at things underneath the microscope and learning all about that and how to go about it, you can do that. And then when we move on in this lab and in these different videos, we're actually going to take different things that we're going to grow ourselves or create ourselves, and we're going to look at them under a microscope. And that's why we got these for you guys, so you guys could actually practice using a microscope, because a microscope is an important part of science. All right, so that's all that I've got for you this week, is just how to use a microscope and to play around with some of these other slides in here. So you've got like broad bean leaf is one of them, and onion bulb epidermis, which is onion bulb skin basically, goldfish scales, cotton stems, and then a bunch of blank ones that we're gonna, you know, use ourselves and play around with, and I'll teach you how to actually prepare slides and how to use slides for science. So if you guys want to play around with that and get familiar with your microscopes and how to use them, that would be great. And then I will see you next week when we'll actually start using them. Have a great week, and if you have any questions, feel free to put a comment in the questions below.